Okay, does anyone have any announcements? Okay. Anyone have anything they'd like to add to the agenda?
Did my notes make it? Yeah, never mind. I see it as a new business. We're good.
Yeah, before our agenda was mostly just, is it Grape 2? Or deployment related?
Yeah, I'll add an item. Planning for the October 2nd eclipse.
Does that overshadow anything?
Not us.
Where's that going to be?
Pacific to southern South America, but it's on an interesting path and I'd like to talk about it.
Road trip.
Maybe.
Oh, Rachel, I have one thing that came up yesterday, or the Grape 2 sites are not on the map that was being used for the Daisy 2 planning.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't consolidated that data yet, Rachel. That's my bad.
That's totally fine. I can,
We'll get together and work on that.
yeah. We'll put it as a
To do.
list thing. Imagine Christina will need that. And I'd hate to ask also, but did you have time to meet with Zorman anytime this week?
Nope. We did.
Oh,
The budget for redeployment. This is more specific.
oh,
I know, I totally forgot to, he was on last call and was like, we should get together. And I was like, okay. But other than spotting him in the wild, he may need to be more directly tracked down. So put this off again. Okay. I think that is most of what this is as well.
I actually did talk to him yesterday about that, and he has not looked at the numbers yet. So
Okay.
we just need to get together with him, have him pull it up.
Yes. I think in theory there should probably be enough shipping budget left to cover.
Yeah, I didn't have to spend the $3,700 for all the extra disk drives, so I think we spent maybe $1,000 on shipping. So I'm guessing there's something in the vicinity of $2K left, plus or minus 1,000. So
Does that mean nobody's looking at the Grape 1 RF data now?
do
They
not
can be shut
that's
down.
true. No.
Wait, how do you mean the DRF data?
The Grape 1 DRF systems that Bill Engelke put out, I believe they're still using that
Yes.
because it's collecting a different data set than Grape 2.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, and at the moment that's that and the Whisper Daemon stuff is being uploaded to the Personal Space Weather Station network.
Great. My system does that every day. How many pins are on the map, Stan? Have you counted today?
As far as I know, I'm still reporting.
I'll put that link there.
No audio, Stan.
Okay.
Nope.
Any other questions in the Grape 1 redeployment? Because I think that's the only thing we had to check back in on.
Well, I have another question on data storage. Is that the the medium wave data? I guess there was a question where that goes.
Well, that's, what I would like to do, I was gonna propose it in one of our future calls, is that, somebody, probably me, maybe if I volunteer, is just create a chart of, of all the various projects we've got going, who's got the data, what format it is, where it's stored and stuff like that, because I don't know that anybody has that in their head. That'd be tough to hold on to. So at some point, I want to reach out to everybody and grab all that stuff, if the group thinks that would be of value.
Definitely a value.
Yeah, value and needed.
Okay. I'll put that on my to-do list. So that's a good reminder, David. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So Gary, are you just gonna take this bit on then as well?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I will.
I do think that's a fair point. Because it is getting a little bit complicated, the Grape 1 Classic data. Is with the WWV crowd.
And plus, we expect some of the stuff to be moving, right? Nathaniel asked us last week to start focusing on consolidating the data formats and storage and all that. So at least we'll have a starting point and we'll keep it up to date as it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Grape 2 is going to WWV, isn't it?
There is public access. If you know how to do FTP.
I was told not that we were
Probably
not.
We're
Automatic.
not encouraging that.
Okay.
This is Dave at WWV ARC.
Yeah.
Put ARC after WWV, would you please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's Grape 2, not Grape 1.
Well, Grape 1 data is still going there as well.
Oh, that
So-
is also, but both of them.
Right. The Grape 1 FL Digi data is going to the WWV repository, not the DRF. That's going to Alabama.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So it might be a thing we want to kind of check in on in the next little while. I did want to ask about the Grape 2. Is there, and maybe this is probably better handled in the Grape 2 status type stuff, but have there been any updates to the current Grape 2
Yes.
for some of the wireless features and the automatic uploading and things?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to get into it now, or you want to wait for the door?
Yeah. Because I think most of the other stuff we have is more conversational,
Okay.
Hey, Rachel,
unless somebody else has something urgent. Yeah.
this is not urgent, but I was hoping to approach this group as a representative of the WWV Amateur Radio Club. We'd be very interested in if there was a possibility to have a quick synopsis of the results of the eclipse. I know that's not peer reviewed, but we were wondering if that's in the works. And our request is short because our next meeting is next week, a week from today on the 25th. So just thought I'd throw that in there if someone was interested in giving just a brief synopsis of what's been found and maybe what direction they're going to do the data mining of stuff. Thank you.
That's a me task, probably.
Rachel, do you want to ask Laura Schwartz and
Oh yeah,
Mars?
the club. Yeah, the EDU
the
club. would be great.
CHU group? They may be willing. They're pretty prepared right now, so they may be willing to get on for a short talk.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Another option,
You prefer then?
another option, Bill Lyles is giving a briefing to DARPA on it. I'm thinking today or tomorrow. And he probably has a presentation ready to go. And I know that Nathaniel and I sent him some of the first pass look at the data.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, we know it's not peer reviewed or anything, but it just gives us a quick update.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that presentation got postponed, as most things at DARPA do, and it will
Post-
be it will
That never
start
happens.
no. It will start out as just a table talk with putting the charts on the table and not projecting anything. So I don't really have a presentation,
Okay.
but I do have Bill's and Nathaniel's images, which I thank you folks for, because that was the basis and that what kept them interested. But that actual discussion, I don't know when it's going to happen yet. Got delayed.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, thanks all for you folks at Case Western for helping them.
Yeah. I can probably send along some slides as well.
Yeah, Bill, that was great fun. Thanks for arranging
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, lots of stuff has happened because of it that I can't tell you about, but things are happening because of it.
I won't ask, but thank you.
Do I have to
piqued my
worry about my
curiosity.
face showing up on an FBI poster?
No,
Post office?
no,
Okay, good. Not this time.
not this time.
Okay.
Okay. Dave, when is that talk, or when is that meeting that you'd like everything by?
It's next week. It's the 25th of April, and it is actually it's the 26th of April at 0000 UTC. I got called on that for using Mountain Time Zone, talking about time. So anyhow, it's at 6 o'clock Mountain Time Zone, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday, the 25th, local time.
It's the 25th in local time.
Right.
What's it in UTC again? It's
the 26th at the top of the day, 0 hour.
okay. Okay, I might send around an email and see who's available then of the usual cluster.
And Rachel, you're invited to give it if you'd like.
I can certainly help. I was gonna say, not that I don't love springing things on undergrads. We should probably check if they don't have a final or something.
I have their email addresses. I'll write to them, and David passed it on to me. So
Okay,
I'll write to them as well.
cool.
Thank you.
We could also probably put together like a master slide deck or something.
Well, I know Hampside would like to, have a speakers bureau at some point. And this is, jumping the gun a little bit. I told the other club board members that, science doesn't happen just right away. But thanks for considering it.
Yeah. I'm preparing a talk for our local club next month, and that would be useful to me too.
Jim, you're welcome to get involved too, since you're a member of the WWV ARC. I'd love to have your participation. So,
Unfortunately, your meetings correspond
that's right.
almost exactly with the meetings of our club here.
That's right. I forgot about that. Okay. Well, we'll talk.
That's a problem.
Yeah, we can visit. All right.
Okay. Yeah, especially with Hamvention coming up, it's probably reasonable that we have like a certain number of standard slides that are just like, oh wow, look, eclipse data. That almost anyone can give as a talk. Let's jump briefly, unless anybody has other business, let's jump briefly to Grape 2 updates for people who are Grape 2 hosts and things.
Okay, we understand why the G2 plot is not working. We are in the process of fixing it. It turns out it's a root versus Pi ownership permissions issue on some of the installed Pi libraries. What we're going to ultimately do is going to fix it with changing the G2 plot script to run under user Pi, which fixes the problem. And we have to edit the cron tab job in the old fashioned way, which allows you to change the invocation of who is running it. Because right now it's running under root. So we're getting that fixed. Bill Blackwell is on the road today, so he's not at today's meeting. But we will be getting that instantiated over the weekend. Also updated G2 plot to allow it to the user to use it such that they don't have to delete plot files they're creating in the transfer directory. So now the transfer option has been added to the command line stuff that Kung did. So kudos to Kung for getting that to work.
Any updates on the data loading stuff? Because I know there's discussion on whether or not you have it automatically upload data.
It's already automatically uploading
Well, I
data
mean,
to the WWV, ARC, WWV FTP site.
that's just the FL Digi data though, right?
Correct.
Right.
We have figured out how to grab probably just April 8th's data.
Mhm.
It's 24 files that are 432 megabytes each. We can paste that. But we have to know where to send it. And that's really going to be up to Nathaniel where it's going to get sent. Also, there is a user online. I think his first name is John, but don't ask me what the last name is. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. He has limited bandwidth, so we have to be cognizant of users that can't send 10 gigabytes of data.
That's true.
So we have to figure out how we're going to handle that. But it's basically going to be a 10 or about 11 gigabyte download over the course of probably several days. We're going to do it hour by hour, like pace it.
Okay.
So we don't overload the server or the receiver.
Yeah.
Site.
Don't necessarily have anyone signed up to take raw data at the moment. I might look into whether or not KSL has a service we can use for that.
Okay.
There's some data.
We know how to do it. It's just a matter, I mean, coding, it's basically an FTP transfer. We know how to do that already. It's just we have to have the site, and then we'll make the scheduling such that on a per day basis, they'll send an hour or 2 or 4, depending on how we spread it out. We're thinking in the process of over a week, we can get a whole day's data into someplace.
Yeah, but do you have a site in mind?
Nope, no clue.
Okay.
That was a Nathaniel operation.
I suspect that Nathaniel is probably gonna say he wants it to send it to me.
Okay. I can also.
Okay, well, we'll work on that once the decision's made. We obviously won't drop it in your lap, Bill.
Yeah.
That's a big slug of data, even if it's just from 32 stations.
Well, I've talked to my IT guys, and apparently they've added quite a bit of storage, and I mean quite a bit. So
okay.
For our next phase of this, we were going to need about 30 terabytes, and they didn't even blink. Sure.
Wow.
No problem. So they've got petabytes installed, so they're able to handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good to know.
Yes.
I won't do anything on that until we get game plan and all that kind of stuff and figure it all out. So
for just April.
You'll make the calls on that one, Bill.
Yeah. And if you want, I can also check with the crew resource data, because I know there's some like data space for research projects at Case for just the April 8th data, but that's because I'm itching to get my hands on it.
Yeah, so it'd be 32 times like 11 gigabytes.
11 gigabytes.
So that's 3 or 4/10 of a terabyte.
Yeah.
That's a lot of data for one day.
Yeah.
Is it possible to compress? I think it probably is.
We have done the compression on the file, and we get about an 11% compression.
Okay.
So 89% of of the 432 is what we'll probably be transferring. But we're thinking of doing it 1 hour at a time and spreading them out for each station. And then on an hour, if we can get that to happen, we'll do that. But it's going to be really the biggest issue is going to be pacing it so we don't overload the FTP site. So we'll have to work on that, figure out what works.
John, are you going to bring up the other? There's like 9 stations that are not uploading right now of the 32 that you mentioned.
Okay, I do not know which ones those are.
Well, I can tell you, you can look at the repository and see them missing, and I didn't know if they're all deployed. Do we have 32 deployed?
Yes. Question is when I look at it, I don't even see mine, and I know mine's uploading. So I haven't.
What's your node?
1001.
I see it. I'm looking at the repository, the
And
listing of the files.
1032.
Yeah, those are there. I'm missing 1003. Is
Okay,
not there.
that's Nathaniel.
1006.
Actually, I probably should write these down.
Well, you can look these up. All you have to do is go to the www.arc.
Like I say, I have, and I pull it up in FileZilla, and I just don't see them all for some
Don't
reason.
pull it up in FileZilla. Just go use a web front end. And you can look at the whole thing with a web front end without doing any.
Got it.
Just scroll to the bottom, and it shows the last ones updated. But there are 9 of the 32 that don't have uploads at all.
Okay.
And so if you want to trace those down, take a look at that list.
Okay.
I don't want to take up the time here to read them out.
No, I appreciate that, but thank you.
I will say for at least one of the stations who said they couldn't confirm whether or not they were updating, they said the data was being recorded in RAW. So that hopefully it's just a problem to upload.
If they have the raw data and then it creates the daily FLDigi data, getting beyond that is easy. We can do that in crontab scripts and address that directly.
And I know Kung isn't here. Can I ask what he's currently working on?
He is working on the G2 plot program to plot the magnetometer temperature data. The same way we're plotting on the same graph format as the Doppler shift data.
Okay.
And the left axis will be from 40 microteslas to 60 microteslas. And the right axis, which is the temperature of the magnetometer, is probably going to go from 0. I'm guessing to, I think 30 C would be enough, but I don't know. How warm does your magnetometer get, Bill?
Me?
Yeah.
You mean the in-ground part?
Yes. Yes, the in-ground part.
Golly.
I'm just trying to get a temperature range that would make sense for plotting that isn't too large, so it just looks like a straight line all the time. Is 30 C high enough? Or because I know mine in the backyard never gets much above about 10 C.
Well, it depends on where you install it. I have 2 of them. I have one in a sunny location, one in a shady location. And the one in the sunny location has massive data effects from the changing temperature. So I basically abandoned that one. But I can't tell you without looking at it.
Sure.
I can take a look at that and tell you what the temperature range is. But it varies according to the time of the year, though, too. So
yeah. I'll
Okay.
take a stab at it. We can always change it later. So
Yeah.
It's just a number in the plot program.
Yeah.
Also, Rachel, could I share my screen?
Sure. I was going to say after that, do you know when about Kung will work on the DRF conversion program?
It's on the list. And he's just changing the raw data to the digital RF format. He's not doing any of the analysis or plotting or anything like that. That is it's on the list.
Okay, perfect. I'm trying to get the time gauge on things, but that's fine because now that we're post eclipse, I feel like the time pressure is not as severe.
In theory, you should be seeing. This is, can you see a graph?
Yep.
Okay, good. This is from Grape 2 station at Case Western up on the roof using a DX Engineering mag loop antenna. And this was the eclipse day, and you can see in here, this is for 5 megahertz, what we saw. So there was definitely something happened there. And then there's the 10 megahertz, which has the characteristic little S jump. Am I going slow enough for you to capture these, Rachel?
Well, if you could move your mouse out of the way, but I'm not gonna compel you to.
Okay. Did you
But
get
it
the
is-
5? Did you get the 5? Did you get the 5 megahertz one?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can, everyone should be able to throw, maybe it's on Google Drives, but
And then this is what happened on 15 megahertz.
if anybody ever has a picture they want in the minutes and they're struggling to get it into the minutes somehow, you can email them to me and I will plop them in the minutes.
And one thing you'll notice is that the dynamic range for the dB volts RMS is significantly larger than the Grape 1.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Actually, I have some plots from my station at home that go down to minus 189 dB. And what's going on there, since that's beyond the normal range of the ADD itself is about 100 dB. But what's going on is FL Digi takes an RMS of the data as it moves along. So if you have a really small number that's been RMS'd, it takes a big dive. So the numbers are real. 0 dB is 1.414 volts RMS. So it's a little larger dynamic range. It's a 4-volt swing instead of a 2-volt swing. 1-volt swing, 1-volt swing. So, but anyway, these are the kinds of things we were seeing for the eclipse. But this is definitely the classic little S jump that we were able to pull out of that. So for the most part, the Grape deployment for Grape 2, about the really only hiccups we had was the system boot with the drive not being seen and then the screen resolution. But that's basically all we had troubles with, which were system integration problems. We fixed the screen resolution with the change to in the command line.boot in the /boot thing, so it automatically comes up as 1920 by 1080. And the hard drive boot thing we're still trying to figure out. We also noticed if you plug a thumb drive into the same USB port, USB 3 port, it will cause the G2 data hard drive to eject. So there's something in the operating system we don't understand that's going on, or there's some bug in the firmware for the USB 3 port under the Raspbian or something, but we haven't figured that out yet, but it's a work in progress.
John, has there been an update since the eclipse?
Actually, yes, I've been pushing things out. In fact, there's another major one coming out that I'm going to have people shut down, rerun the PSWS setup to get the new parameters and stuff. So that's going to be coming out. I'm guessing early next week. I'll send an email out to the list on how to do it. So.
Okay, but otherwise things have been automatic.
Otherwise, everything's been automatic and working, which is kind of surprising to me, given the way we had to push this out. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's real. That was a pretty Herculean effort to try and get that done. So
Thank
Yeah,
you.
the Raspberry Pis are definitely
quirky.
quirky. Yes, that's a good word. We have the same problem with our systems.
Yeah, but like I say, everything. Like I say, Bill was able to capture the essence of FL Digi now, and what I'm going to suggest when Nathaniel gets back is that since we have the C code that actually implements this, and it's very well written, and it's in a submodule, it probably would make sense for somebody to take that code and rewrite the Grape 1 software to do the exact same thing and get around the problem of FL Digi. I think I've explained this before, but The reason FLDigi skips a second every 42.67 seconds is that it has a math procedure that takes 8192 data samples, and the A to D is only sampling at 8,000. So every second it has to steal 192 samples from the previous second. So every 42 seconds, that 192 adds up to 8,000 and it skips the second. So you end up exactly with 2,025 missing seconds out of 86,400 seconds per day, which is what the source of the problem is. So what we're going to do to fix this, which is going to be another update to the Grape 2, is I'm kicking the sample rate up to 8192 instead of 8,000. It won't make much of a difference for the resolution of the plots, but it will make a huge difference in terms of Rachel will be getting 86,400 samples per day instead of the 2,025 less than that.
Works better for FFTs too.
Yes, they like to be even powers of 2. And that's really what the issue was, is when he wrote that, he bumped into that, and that's why it's missing. It's not a system timing problem, it's a math matrix size problem. So I don't know of anything else, Rachel, so back to Net.
Yep. Just wanted to check really quick, any updates on either of the websites, so Bill or Gary? Any, I imagine not, because we really just finished up the Eclipse.
Well,
Yeah, I did, as I said, I just added our map of host stations to the Grape 2 page. And I've been going through and cleaning out all the old stuff about how we were looking for hosts and surveys and all that sort of stuff. I think I finally found it all. So I think that's about it for me.
Okay. Bill, you had something?
Yeah, we're putting the finishing touches on a magnetometer analysis package. It's not quite working yet, but it's close. My students have we should have it working within the week, but if you happen to go to the Personal Space Weather Station Network website and go into analysis and try to do magnetometer, you probably won't get useful results, but it's the interface is there, and we have to just clean up some things on the back end with data formatting, but it'll allow you to stack up as the plots from as many magnetometers as you like for a given day, so you can compare magnetometer results from different locations. It's modeled out. It's a crude version of SuperMag. Eventually, we hope to include pulling in SuperMag data into that, but that's quite a bit down the road. Probably a project for next iteration of the project. So that's where that stands.
Bill, can I send you a sample of what the magnetometer data files are going to look like from the Grapes?
Yeah, yeah.
It's very, very straightforward. It's a CSV file and it's just 3 columns, but you probably should have one in your hands to play with.
Just 3 columns.
Yeah. Time. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. It's more than that. Yeah, it's time, internal temperature, external temperature, and then X, Y, and Z magnetometer.
Yeah, you have column headers in there. So
yes. Yeah. I'll send it to you.
And one of the challenges we have had is, we've got magnetometer going back 3 years now, and some of the magnetometers were originally configured to put the data out in JSON. So I told this yesterday, you got to be able to recognize if it's JSON and automatically switch to that. So that was news to the students yesterday. But they can accomplish that in 10 minutes, though. The guys working on this are brilliant. So
yeah.
We should be able to get that. Anyway, I'll work with that data file and we'll make sure it works.
Okay. Like I say, it's very straightforward. I tried to keep it very simple, so they shouldn't have any trouble with it.
Out of curiosity, Bill, is there an interface for downloading large sets of data?
What do you mean downloading?
Like
sending data to us or pulling data from us to you?
Yes.
Which? Either one or what?
Not uploading, like downloading, like going onto the website and saying, for this date range, can you give me like all of the grapes that are available?
Well, right now you can download anything, but it's one at a time.
Yes, I have noticed.
So you want to Okay, you want a range of dates.
Yeah, or even if it's just one day, because most of the observations are categorized by day. If I could just say like grab all of the data in one go. I've already got April 8th data downloaded, so it's not urgent or anything. I just think it might be a nice feature moving forward.
Well,
And not urgent, don't worry about it.
well, we better make sure we think about what's the implication of that, because that's going to be a lot of data.
Yes.
So maybe something along the lines of you pick a day and it'll give you a list of the stations for which observations were uploaded. And then you can pick off a drop down or check off the boxes of the ones you want to receive, and there would be a button to turn them all on.
Yeah.
And it's doable. I'm not sure when we can get to that though.
That's fine.
My students are going to be here for about another 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they're gone until the end of August. And they're not, we have this weird policy, undergraduate students are not permitted to work on university projects during summer break. So nothing happens during the summer, nothing.
Oh, my.
I think for most users, the plots in themselves are enough.
Yeah. I mean, you can download all this stuff now one at a time.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a test of how motivated you are again.
That's fair. Okay. Okay. I think all we have left is David, did you want to talk about the October 2nd eclipse now? Do you have plans?
Well, I want to bring that up here. May I have share?
Sure.
Screen share? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one moment. Every single time I have to remember how to do this. Share screen and this one. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of the line across this one, but here's the eclipse path. So it's interesting. It's mostly in the Pacific. It doesn't cross Hawaii, but the portion of it that approximates a great circle path does include the path from WWVH roughly to its crossing in Chile and Argentina. So it's kind of like the CHU along path experiment. I've sent letters to the amateur radio associations in Argentina and Chile asking if they have any contacts in that part of the country. This is not the populated parts of either country. There's some gorgeous national parks there. It will be Antarctic spring, so it'll be a nice time of year. We will have equipment returned from the CHU project that we could deploy there. Does anybody have any contacts? Anybody have any for me to write to? No, I didn't think so. Okay, but it's always worth a chance. I think I will send a note to ARL and other groups to put out a call for participants for this one. I think it's an opportunity that we should not miss. So that's my quick spiel. Any comments on this one?
David, I think there might be a way we can observe how spotting from PSK, RBN, and Whisper networks changes over time, because we have we're collecting all the spots from all the networks and calculating the center point, lat longs of the center point of each signal path, assuming short path, of course. And it is possible to geofence. So we can put a geofence around that area where the eclipse is going through, and then observe how the quantity of spots and this kind of thing changes throughout the day. I can show something on what happened in that if anybody wants to see that, I can show. I've got an example of that from eclipse day.
Well, yes, but before you do, if you want to do that, then we need some cooperation from amateurs in Hawaii to do a whole lot of beaconing, and we need some receiving points along the South American annular maximum spots. This is sparsely populated South America.
Right, I understand that.
So, okay, we can do that. Again, I think I'd get ARL involved and the amateur radio associations of Chile and Argentina, because otherwise there are going to be anything to receive there.
Well, what we're looking at is we're looking for spots where the center point of the spot is in the middle. So all traffic that's going between South America, New Zealand, Australia, Hawaii, and South Pacific all has center points that could fall inside of a geofenced area within that area.
Okay, yes, that is an interestingly different experiment. That's across the eclipse path. What makes this eclipse interestingly similar to the one from a couple of weeks ago is that there's a national beacon with a timed, essentially radar signal that's along the path.
Interesting, yeah.
So that's what I'm really specifically discussing here. Otherwise,
Okay.
certainly what you're describing is interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's my spiel here. I have written, as I mentioned, to both of those countries' amateur radio associations. I'll see what comes back, and I think I'll start publicizing this with ARL.
Did you perhaps speak to the who we had from? So there's a speaker.
I haven't yet. I need to talk with you about who your contacts are.
David, there are a number of active amateur radio operators in the Falklands as well. I don't know if that's useful, but if you need contact information, I can dredge that up.
Yeah, I'd certainly appreciate it. It's well in that region. Oh, sorry, I don't think I caught that. Yes, that's well within the eclipse region here. Do you have, and thank you. Do you have my email?
Why don't you go ahead and throw it into the chat to me, and I'll make sure I forward what I have.
Okay, I'll put it in chat to everyone. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel, if you don't mind, I'll take 2 minutes and show you how we track spots for the eclipse day. Bring this up here. Here. All right, what you see in the center here, the green chart, is Nathaniel's RX 888 on 10 megahertz, just to get a note of where the eclipse is in Doppler. Now, if you look at the different bands, you will see that there is a definite signature of the eclipse in all of the, or I should say at least most of the bands on which FT8 works. Here as it is on 160, little glitch there, 80 meters. You see it most dramatically in 40 meters. Normally, we have 40 meters just as flat right through here, but you see this as to be expected. Not much to be seen on 30 meters, but there's a little bit of a glitch here, a lump from 20 meters, and some strange stuff. It looks like we caught some LSTIDs or MSTIDs in there, and it's same on 10 meters. And if you take a look at the difference between 40 meters, April 8th and April 1st, you'll see this is a difference between a typical day on 40 meters, and this is a difference between 20 meters a typical day. So we got strong signatures And this includes PSK, RBN, and Whisper data all in once. I guess we've got about 60 million spots for the day. We get about 60 to 100 million spots a day. So anyway, that's what that is.
Wow. That's pretty cool, Bill.
Yeah, that's the data we're going to be uploading to Madrigal at the MIT Madrigal system.
Yeah, when we look at the AM data, that will show the same thing. We saw a
Yes.
very distinct signal increase during the eclipse.
That would be really interesting to share with our club members.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, exactly. Thanks, Gary.
Is that subtle?
Well, I'm just trying to get out of it. Dave asked me first because I'm probably not qualified, so.
Yeah, I think Bill would send that to you if you ask him nicely.
Yeah, another thing I'll mention is I've been asked to give a talk on the HAMSci results to the New England SciTech Radio Club. They call themselves STARS. When we start putting this together, I'll be interested in getting copies. Or
Yeah, along those lines, we have been getting requests here and there from various radio clubs asking for, just as Dave did, a report on our results. And Nathaniel's response to one of them was, he says, well, we'll probably have results in the fall. So outside of
Fair
our
enough.
own little world, we've been kind of pushing people out into the future a little bit.
If you want to do that to our club, you are welcome to, Gary.
No, there's a little tighter connection to the WWV ARC, Dave. So we want to support that, obviously.
Seriously, if your plate's full, things can be tabled. No problem. So
I also think as long as you're not expecting like full scientific workup kind of results, but just like, here are the plots.
well, we have about a dozen people show up, and I have not been recording them, so no fear of it showing up again until you want it to show up again. So I'll be in touch with everybody. Thank you. And Bill, that's really cool. It's very neat.
Rachel, I got 2 questions for the New England Grape Group.
Sure.
Number one, does anybody know if Bill Blackwell's Grape 2 is uploading data daily? I know he's using it for development purposes, so I imagine it's kind of hard to keep it on the air if you're in there poking around with the software all the time. But
Yeah,
I just want to know if I should include him on the map or not.
What node is it?
He is node N1002.
No, it's not in the repository.
Okay, that's fine. Second thing, maybe I missed it at the beginning, but we've got 5 of the Grape 1 DRFs that are expected to come back, and we put people off. A couple people have asked us where to ship them. We discussed last week the New England Grape Group receiving them and checking them out, and then once we've got plans of redeployment, sending them back out. If that still is the plan, that's a good one. I think that's great. I just need to know to where they should be sent so I can start telling people to ship them back and they don't get forgotten about and put in a dusty corner of somebody's ham closet.
That's fair. I think since the New England Grape Group is going to take it, Bob would be the best person to ask for an address.
So we discussed it. Bob, W1XP, will probably be doing, he will test the grapes electronically. So he would be the best place, or you could send it to me. I mean, we're close enough. But W1XP would be the preferred address at this point, I think.
Okay, I'll confirm that with him just to be sure. And we got you as a backup in the future if we need to, Stan. Thank you. That's good.
While it's quiet, I'll just mention if anyone saw Christina's email about getting grape plots on spaceweather.com.
Oh yeah, I should have thrown out the announcements.
Yeah, that was pretty special.
Nice. Um, if they are still up, I will link that in the announcements then.
Yeah, you have to be careful. If you do it with a live page that's up there, that changes on a daily basis. They've got an archive, and you can link it from the archive, and then that link will always
Oh,
be current. I learned that the hard way last year.
Yeah, make sure the date is included in the link.
Hey, spaceweather.com's got an article about us today, information from Christina.
yeah. I was gonna just do the very sketchy operation of taking a screenshot.
Since it's quiet again, I'll just mention that my Grape One FL Digi system on that graph has been up for 472 days.
Yep. Sounds about right.
The link I just posted is persistent.
What's your station, Stan?
The station number?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go look at it.
Okay, never mind.
It's node 43.
Yeah, 43.
Very good. I would like to talk to you guys about how you're accessing the FTP site that we have up with backdooring it, because I guess we've got something wide open, huh?
Yeah. I would like to know.
Well, I'd like to know what it is. I'm not suggesting we close it, but our webmaster is very hard to get a hold of right now. He's going through some difficult health issues. So that's why I'm reluctant that we count on the FTP site too much.
If you read the code that sends the files to the WWV repository, you can figure out how to do it, how to do an FTP get. And
So you're just doing a straight get. That's all you're doing, right?
I'm sorry?
You're just doing a get and pulling individual files or groups.
FTP get password is right there in the code. But
Thanks,
it's
George.
it was key in me putting together my little presentation about the MUF, because I could go get those files. And Bill Blackwell sends out compilations every night of different populations of grape ones.
Yes.
By,
Those graphs that you're doing are just the grape one, right?
sorry,
It's not from the DRF data, it's just the FL Digi data.
that's correct. And that's what's on that article that went into Space Web. That's Bill Blackwell's plot.
I will say, if you're looking, you can look at a whole cluster of Grape Ones a little faster than you can look at a cluster of Grape Twos.
Yes,
So
you can.
that's very helpful.
You can specify which ones you want to access, and it's a little shell script that accesses those files and plots them.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to talk about? If not, we are just about at time, and we could end on time.
I wanted to mention something to David McGaugh. David, we were talking last night. You wanted to know how to run an RSP Duo and FL Digi on a Raspberry Pi. I remember my hangup was trying to get the virtual audio cables developed. That was the thing that I ran into, and that's why I went to the back of the burner for a while.
But you did figure it out?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's still
Oh.
on the burner to figure out, but if
Got it.
either one of us gets there first, I'll let the other know.
Very good.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, we're trying to set up for the frequency measurement test that's coming up next week.
That's
If
on
anyone's
Tuesday night?
interested.
The FMT is on Tuesday night?
Correct. Yeah,
Tuesday
late
night local time. 11 o'clock at night for you, John. Might be past your bedtime.
It might be.
Not the
Be nice because the ionosphere might have settled a little bit.
Exactly.
all right. Any other business? Not, I will see you all next week. 73, everyone.
73.
7 3s.